the quarter. And standing by to call the action, here are Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
Thank you, Coach. We are about 15 miles west of downtown Phoenix at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. Today, it's an NFC West battle between the Seattle Seahawks and the Arizona Cardinals. Three-quarters of the NFL season are complete. What lurks in our final month? We're underway in Week 14. This is taken at his 4. And he'll be brought down here as the penalty flags come in right away, and we may have a face mask here right at the start.
Personal foul, face mask, defense.
Well, we looked at each other right away. We knew that flag was coming out.
And I always enjoy the conversation post because officials always tell you, I don't want to, but you caused the play.
They'll hand it off now. Johnson. And he's up across midfield and down into Seattle territory. The numbers for Johnson in last week's game: 16 carries, 81 yards, and a touchdown.
Has 9 rushing touchdowns on the season, so a lot of credit has to go to the rest of the offense because you know those big guys up front are doing work. But now the goal is to get to 10. And don't for a second think that the defense doesn't know that. They'd like to do their best to keep him at the end zone in this one.
Here's Johnson. And he's got this down to the 35. They pick up 12 on the play there, and they move the chains.
And that's the big fella's MO right there. Running through tackles, keeping the sticks moving forward. This defense, if you don't bring 11 guys to the ball to try and get him on the ground, he's going to keep making runs like that. I feel the press box shaking every time he touches the rock.
A first down carry here for Johnson. And a short gain down to about the 33. Making the stop that time, Bobby Wagner.
One thing to keep in mind, partner, especially in the second half, when you've got a running back of this size, of these dimensions, I can just tell you, attrition does set in for a defense because you're excited about hitting him in the first half. Maybe not so much in the second half, and some of these shorter gains turn into bigger runs later.
On second down, Johnson. Johnson with a burst, a first down or more. And finally taken down at the 4-yard line. A big run there, 29 yards and a first. You were telling me this yesterday. This is exactly what they want to do on the opening drive, establish the ground game.
Yeah, remember our conversation? We were talking about what one of the GMs in the league has told me repeatedly. It's a big man's game, and it's not necessarily size. He's talking about playing some big boy football. Line up, get leverage, knock people back, and establish the run early.
Johnson, and he is in for 6. Touchdown, Cardinals. David Johnson hitting double digits with his 10th touchdown of the season. And the Cardinals have taken the early lead.
The losing streak had taken on a life of its own, and I think it infiltrates a team when you're on that much of a slide. But this group has managed to focus, come out early, and put a touchdown on the board. They look like they mean business in this one.
And they do now. The key, holding on to that attitude because, man, that streak has been a struggle for them. Wilson and the Seahawks take over now, 1st and 10 at their 25-yard line. From the shotgun, Wilson. And the catch is made here by Tyler Lockett. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. A very solid gain of 27.
Of course, the catch was nice, but how about what happened after? Able to stay on his feet and gain all that additional yardage. So many of these slot guys, I think, have running back in their background.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he's corralled, but not before getting it inside the 35. The numbers for Austin a week ago, very productive. 3 touchdowns, 2 of them on the ground, 1 through the air.
And it will always be a compliment to say that a guy's got a nose for the end zone, and he sure had it last week.
A lot of running backs, a little bit of a disadvantage when you start talking MVP. Might not be the case this year. You think he's got a shot, don't you?
I do. I think he's got more than a shot. But what he's going to need here down the stretch this late in the season, he needs that big closing game, that game that we're all going to reflect on and go, oh, my goodness, did he put up a number, let's say 200 plus?
Now a play fake here on first down. Oh, the ball comes out on the hit, but they'll say it's incomplete.
Pressure, and that's certainly going to be a key to this game going forward. And that time, they were able to get in there and influence the throw. And remember, quarterbacks got to get rid of it. They don't have the tuck roll that they can fall back on anymore.
From the 34, they'll come to the line on 2nd and 10.
Check 50, check 50.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And they'll be inside the 25 now at the 24. It'll be a pickup of 10 yards. And they'll be faced with a 3rd and inches. Another good run there for a guy who, remember, on Wednesday was named NFC Offensive Player of the Week for what he did a week ago.
Yeah, and you know it takes some solid runs and some extra special ones in order to win that type of an award. I think he's locked in and wants to get it done a second time.
On 3rd down, that's Austin. And the penetration too strong. He won't make it back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be a loss of a yard, and that's going to bring up a 4th down.
Robert Kimdichie's pro day workout, I know it was only shorts, but that's about as good a workout I've seen from a defensive lineman in a long time. Incredible speed, quickness, and power all on display. And he used every bit of that to make that play.
He was such an athlete coming out of high school. I remember calling his bowl game in 2013 in Nashville. They lined him up and handed him the football as a running back. Well, not really a running back, a fullback, but he can just do a lot of things.
No doubt about it. The consensus #1 player in high school when he opted to go to Ole Miss.
The lead cut to just 4 as they kick it away and turn things over to their D. This one fielded at the 5. And he'll get it up to about the 26-yard line just across the 25. Arizona getting ready to go as they take the field. They had the touchdown on the opening drive of the ball game. It was countered by just a field goal. So, hey, if your guys can do that for 4 quarters, you're in good shape.
Yeah, it is a team game, so that's just good complimentary football. But, you know, I know I'm no brainiac, but you trade 6s for 3s, things are going to work out in your favor.
They'll come out throwing here on first down. Dumping it off for Johnson. And this one will go to the 28-yard line. It'll be a pickup of only a yard, and that'll make this a 2nd down.
I know most of the time when the ball's in the air, you're thinking wide receiver, tight end, but running backs, they can be a big part of any passing offense nowadays.
They only got a yard out of that last completion, and that makes this 2nd and 9. They'll run it now out of the gun. This will go for 5 up to the 33. Getting the sense, Charles, they're going to put a big emphasis this afternoon on the run game.
And why not? What we're seeing so far is working pretty well from them. And here's the best part. We always talk about the best performers do their job when the lights come on. I think he likes natural light best.
He'll drop to throw. He gets it to Brown, complete. Catch number 40 for him on the year. It's a first down. So from Seahawk territory now, it's 1st and 10 at the 48-yard line.
Here we go now. Blue Liner.
He'll look to throw. Under pressure, and he will go down. Sacked back at the 46.
How about that? One of the so-called little guys putting the pressure on. That was the strong safety. When I was in college, we often called that a lightning blitz.
Protection certainly going to need to be a bit better here on 2nd and 16.
Now let's go. Green 39. Green 39.
Now a handoff. Johnson. And he's got it across midfield and down to about the 47-yard line. Able to pick up a healthy chunk of yards, 7-yard gain, but a tough 3rd and 9 upcoming.
We are watching a runner having a really nice game. Carrying it very well. Vision is excellent, but boy, look at the help he's getting. Offensive line, I think they're pretty eager to block for him.
Now let's go. Green 39. Green 39.
On 3rd down, he'll drop to throw. That's incomplete, but there is a flag down, so hang on. A big call coming on 3rd down.
Pass interference. Offense.
So they decline it as that will bring up 4th.
And I know that yardage and field position are keys to any game played, but you got to consider downs when you're talking about penalties, and they wisely did not take that one and made it 4th down.
Seattle now ready to march out of the field. And last time able to get 3. It's not what they wanted. They wanted 6, but they got at least something. They mustered something out of the drive.
They'll take it. I like the way you've described it. Not ideal, but they'll take it. Anything to put some points on the board. But this time on offense, they don't even want to see the field goal kicker trot on the field. They want that ball in the end zone.
Yeah, they'll be going for 6. On 2nd down, Wilson. Austin's got it left side. And he's brought down, but not before they get it across the 20-yard line. They give him 14 yards that time and a fresh set of downs. And just on Wednesday, he was named the NFC Offensive Player of the Week for that over 100-yard performance he had last week.
Deservedly so, and I enjoyed our time with him and asked him how he got it done. What did he see? And he said film study, watching what the defenses were going to present, understanding how to defeat those. And then he was a step ahead because he said, then they're going to change up and counter another way. And he beat them that way, too.
It's a gain of a yard, and it'll take us to the end of the first quarter. They've got a 2nd and 9 to start things out.
14.
From the gun, it's Wilson. Flushed out right. And he'll be brought down right at the 30 here. Give him 7 there on the tuck and run, and they're in better shape now for 3rd.
They brought the blitz that time, and I thought they were going to get to him, but instead, he flipped it on its ear and ended up picking up positive yardage.
I thought he was dead to rights, but you are exactly correct, sir, able to turn that into a positive gain. Wilson now to throw on 3rd down. And he's got Lockett. And he slips up past the 45 before being tackled. It'll be a gain of 16 for number 16. Couple of first downs to kick off the drive. Here's 1st and 10 up at the 46. They'll run it now out of the gun. Able to power through. And nowhere really to go there. He'll take this up just shy of midfield. The tackle made there by Dayon Buchanan.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
Tempo.
Now Wilson on 2nd down. And that one goes incomplete. He's maybe lucky it wasn't a fumble as he got hit as he threw it.
Well, the great coach has said football is really a simple game. Rush theirs, protect yours. And he's talking about those guys throwing the football. In this situation, the rush won, hitting the quarterback and forcing him into an incompletion.
They head to the line facing a 3rd and 7 following the incompletion on 2nd down.
Touch 50, touch 50.
Out of the gun, here's Wilson. They'll lock it with a grab over the middle. And he'll be taken down at the 44-yard line. They get 7 there, but it brings up 4th.
So much about offense is what you call hidden yardage. You know, you throw the ball to someone, they catch it, and then they can make a big play. You know, they create a play, run after catch. They did a really nice job there of limiting that and keeping him from a first down.
Yeah, stopped him in his tracks. Tailback. And this is going to be nowhere close. Needed some inches and ended up losing yardage. But it was too far for a field goal try. You don't really gain a whole lot out of a punt, so I don't think you have much of a problem with that, do you?
No, not at all. I think it's the right play, the exact right play, because even if you want to play defense and pin them deep, you know how hard it is for a punter to knock one dead inside the 10-yard line. That's not necessarily easily done. So I think going for it there is the right call.
They begin the drive with Johnson. And he'll lose yardage on the play back at the 45-yard line. It's a loss of 2 there, bringing up 2nd down.
Well, you had to punt on your first drive, and on the first play of the second drive, you end up going backwards. I would dare say they need something good to happen right here, right now.
So the opening play of the drive goes backwards. Now they'll come up on 2nd and 12.
Let's go. Green 39. Green 39.
Now a shotgun snap as they'll look to throw. Throw right side is going to be caught by Kirk. And he'll be brought down just shy of midfield at the 49-yard line. Only 3 yards on the catch. It's 3rd down.
Now let's go. 319. 319.
Back to throw here. On the right side, it's Hilton with a catch. Hilton's first catch, good for a first down.
But give the defensive guys a little bit of credit. They didn't let the deep ball beat them on that play, did they?
No, the drag, that guy can be your safety valve. We saw it right there.
Yeah, and it picked up a first down for them, too.
So from the 36 now, 1st and 10.
Here we go now. 319. 319.
They go play action here on 1st down. Under a heavy rush, and down he goes.
And plays like that really hurt play calling. They had a really nice gain on the previous play, but gave about half the yardage back on the sack. Excellent pressure up front. Nowhere to go with the football. Down he goes.
Under 4 to go now as the clock runs, and they come up on 2nd down. They'll run it now out of the gun. And down inside the 40 to about the 38. A pickup of 7 there, but they'll still have 12 yards to go on 3rd down. And that looked like some pretty easy yardage there right up the gut.
And he's a guy that has some height to him. So when you don't have to drop a shoulder or create or get through contact or trash, makes it a lot easier to stay upright, see the field, and make a run as we just saw there.
Here we go now. 319.
Back to throw. Throwing the out route incomplete. It's Jennings. First catch for him. It's good for a dozen and a first down. 10th carry for Johnson. So he got free of one tackle but couldn't do a whole lot else. 5 yards on the carry. Good pickup on first down.
Despite the blitz, they're still able to pick up a nice solid gain. The disadvantage of blitzing often alters the normal spacing and run fits and leaves creases like they were able to exploit right there.
Here we go now. Boom, landed.
On the ground, this is Johnson. And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. It's a 4-yard pickup, and that'll make it 3rd and 1.
And that's one of the reasons you like to blitz even on rundowns. It confuses the blocking assignments. It doesn't allow those offensive linemen to get up to the second level.
The Cardinals on 3rd down. They've been good, 3 for 4 thus far. They're up against a 3rd and 1 situation. 2 minutes to go here in the first half. More from the desert after this. All right, coming up at intermission. Charles, you want to wait to enhance your Saturday?
I certainly do.
I've got just a thing for you. It's the coach, Jonathan Coachman, standing by Orlando. He'll be alongside at half to take us through the weekend in the NFL. Rolling to his left. He may try and run for this. And he's got the first down as he gets it to the 8. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal.
These type of plays are backbreakers for a defense. They thought they had him hemmed in, thought they were going to get him on the ground with the pass rush, but were unable to do so. He gets away, picks up a big first down, and sets up 1st and goal inside the 10.
Lucky 56.
Now they'll switch it up here and look to throw. And oh, it'll be intercepted. Shaquille Griffin with a pick. And he's got daylight. It's a foot race. 30, 10, and he will take this one home. It's a touchdown. How about that for a little jolt right before intermission?
You talk about taking momentum into the half with you, and so many teams have an emphasis on trying to score in the last 2 minutes of a half to carry that with them. It's not often talked about scoring on defense, though. That's extra mo.
And now they may take the lead into the locker room as well. So they throw the pick six. They'll get another shot at it now as this one's in the air. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. And now let's look at David Johnson. And he's sure looking like a lock for a 1,000-yard season. Don't know if he's going to get it in this game, but he'd probably like to just to get past that point.
Yeah, and if he doesn't, as you noted, there's still time, still opportunity. There's still more games to be played. So, yeah, it's not a lock, but barring injury, it certainly looks like he's going to get there. And what an accomplishment that is. Anytime you get over 1,000 yards, you're celebrated in the NFL.
It's been quite a season. Still a couple chapters left in that book, though. 7 yards, the pickup on the pitch and catch. Now they'll throw here out of the gun. And incomplete there. A nice hit. Jars the ball free and brings up 3rd down.
They went with a dime look on defense. 2 extra defensive backs on the field and covered up essentially every blade of grass. That allowed them to disrupt the play.
The Cardinals on 3rd down. They've been near perfect. 4 for 5 to this point. Here it's 3rd and 3.
All right, here we go.
They'll look to throw here. And this is going to be incomplete.
I'm not sure we could spot any tendency here on this 3rd down. They could have run it or passed it. Either one was available. They chose to try and get it through the air, but they were unsuccessful.
This will be fielded at the 17. 12 yards on the return that time. And it'll be Seahawk football, 1st and 10. Out comes the Seattle offense. We take a peek at the playoff race coming into the weekend in the NFC. And right now, a lot to like on that screen. They've wrapped up the division, now currently sitting in the coveted number 2 spot. Of course, you'd love number 1, but if you can't have one, number 2 is pretty good.
I agree with you totally, and here's the other part, too. The really good teams, the really confident teams, they're not as worried about being number 1. 2 is fine because they feel like they can go on the road and win against number 1 if they absolutely have to. The big thing, though, is clinching one of those early byes and able to sit and get a little rest as the playoffs begin.
And on the ground they go with the running back. And he'll bring it up here to right at the 40-yard line. And now we won't see a play on first down. We're going to get a timeout instead, as the clock will stop with just under 30 seconds to go in the first half.
Hey, go get another. Come on. Well. 14.
Play action. It's Wilson. He's going to float this one deep right side. And it drops down incomplete. Thought he might have had it. Instead, second down.
Brandon, it looked like he had his hands on it for a moment, but let's face it, that was going to be a tough catch all the way because of the presence of the defense right there as he was trying to haul it in.
Yeah, nice job to force the incompletion.
Shotgun.
Second and 10. It's Wilson again. He's going to loft one deep left. It's caught inside the 25. And all the way in. Touchdown, Seattle. Cameron Meredith as the first half is winding down. And the Seahawks find a way to stretch their lead. And that'll give them a 2-score lead here, but I'm looking ahead. They just want to hold it for the final moments here in the second quarter. They don't want to give up anything on the other side.
No, not at all, because if they don't, it almost had the feel of an imposing their will score. And right now, they want to make sure they keep that and carry it into the second half.
Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. "15 seconds, all that remains for this first half as they come up first and 10.
Four down. Check. Set. Blue 90. Blue 90. Right there. 54 Mike.
And they'll start the drive on the ground with Johnson. Trying to find a lane, but instead he'll get back to the line of scrimmage. And no more. No gain on the play there. Second down. Well, they had the run for no gain. Now they'll try again from the 25 on second and 10. So you want the third quarter already? No problem. Let's do it. The Seahawks with the advantage, and they get the football first as the second half is underway. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. The Seattle offense now set to come back out on the field. They built a good first half lead. Now they have a chance to add on to it.
And what I'm thinking is that the offensive staff spend the entire halftime just working with them on, here's what we think they're going to do to attack us in the second half. Nice first half that we've had, guys, but be prepared for some change-ups. We're going to see them when we kick it off in the second half.
See how they handle any adjustments that might be made defensively.
Third quarter and you've got the lead. You're not ready to go into that 4-minute offense to close the game out, but a running game can really benefit your team right now.
And they'll go with a ground attack here. And this carry not as productive. He's swallowed up at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play that time, and they'll look to convert on what will be a 3rd and 4.
I know the scouting report on him is that he doesn't possess the eye discipline to be an elite linebacker. And what that means is his ability to read, react, and make a play. But on that one, he looked like one of those guys.
The Seahawks on 3rd down. Just 1 for 3 thus far. This is 3rd and 4. From the gun, Wilson. He's going to flip one out here to his running back. And he's able to get the first before he's taken down at the 36. It's a gain of 4 there, and it gives him a new set of downs.
And that one was a lot of fun right there because that was the game within the game. 3rd and short, blitz was on. What's the key for the quarterback? Get out of your hands in a hurry. And that was a quick little completion. Got the job done for a first down.
Room here to run. A huge play there on the screen pass. 51 yards.
Well, partner, I'm not sure how this drive's going to end, but how about the way they flip field position there? A nice attacking play that picked up a heck of a chunk of yardage.
A real field flipper there as all of a sudden they've got a first down in the red zone. From the red zone now, here's Wilson on first down. And incomplete, he dropped it in the end zone.
The beauty of being able to play a zone defense when you can sit back and see the ball coming out of the quarterback's hands, guess what? Creates a lot of confusion, kind of a muddle in the middle of the field where you can go make a play on the football.
So after the incompletion on first, now 2nd and 10. Here's Wilson. And his throw's going to be incomplete.
Once you get into the red zone and the safeties have less ground to cover, you better be quick with your delivery. Not much space to get a ball in there.
Yeah, when that field shrinks with those safeties, it's almost like there's a couple extra defenders out there, right?
It certainly is. They end up taking up extra space just because there's not enough space for receivers to run through.
On 3rd down, Wilson. And that will be incomplete as well.
Boy, you will not see a quarterback of his caliber miss a one like that very often. I mean, there it is, wide open, got the shot, and he misfires.
We talk about, boy, he'll want that one back all the time. He definitely wants that one back. So the drive stalls out inside the 15-yard line, but they do get 3.
And I've talked with enough players nowadays that when they have these types of kicks, that no one says to their guy, hey, that's just like making an extra point, piece of cake. Because the extra point is not a piece of cake anymore. They're kicking a field goal from that distance, just give him confidence and let him knock it through.
The Cardinals offense now ready to get their first opportunity here in the second half. They're down in this game. A chance for the offense, though, to put something on the board, get some momentum here in half 2.
Try and get things kick-started for them. And you know at the half, they discussed how they were going to get that done. This is where scripting comes into play a lot of the time.
How many plays do you script coming out of the second half?
Most of the time in the first half, you're scripting 12 to 16. I think in the second half, you're really scripting more like 8 to 10. Kind of a starter or an opener, whatever terminology they use. Just something to get you off to a quick start.
You got a young quarterback. Maybe that's just an example of a growing pain for him.
I think you're right about that, because when the game starts to move fast and it moves quickly on him, a lot of times they fall back on what they know best, their arm. He's slinging it on this one. Had a wide open target, but didn't have the proper footwork to increase his accuracy. Brandon, all things considered, they have to feel pretty good about getting that type of a gain, considering the blitz that they just had against them.
This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on 3rd down. Out of the gun now on 3rd down. And that is incomplete. Trying to get their tight end involved finally. That's the first time that they've looked his way. He's kind of been a forgotten man in this offensive scheme.
Yeah, didn't look his way at all in the first half. And I'll bet you the offensive coordinator made a note at the half and said, let's get him involved because he could be a big-time playmaker for us.
34 yards on the return. But for a moment, looked like he had a shot to go all the way. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. The Seattle now ready to march out of the field. This is sort of what you would call a put-away drive, isn't it? They score here, especially a touchdown. It's almost out of reach.
It certainly feels that way, and I think that they're going to call their plays accordingly because what you really want to do, even though you know the scoreboard is still up there and the game's going to go.
Accelerating, and off he goes. And all the way in, touchdown Seattle. A great play there. His 17th touchdown now on the season. And the Seahawks add on to their lead. And that run massively increased his production in this game, and now he's over 100 yards.
And break out your calculator, partner, because his yards per carry went up significantly, right? Big-time jaunt all the way to the end zone.
So now a two-point conversion attempt coming for Wilson and the Seahawks. They'll try and run it up the middle. And he is into the end zone again. So get him some oxygen. He scores on the long run and then punches in the two-point conversion for good measure. And so they run it in on the two-point try. You know, so often, Charles, we talk about from the offense's perspective what you do on the two-point conversion. How about the defense? How do they play run versus pass?
It's really difficult for them because I think most teams want to play for the pass. That's what they see most teams do. And so are you able to mass enough people inside if the team decides to run it? Very difficult. I think what you're seeing a lot more now, people blitzing the two-point conversion. They want you to make a quick decision and make it right now.
There, the offense wins the battle for two. From the 32 now, here's 1st and 10.
Hey, 4 down. Hurry up, here we go. 3-19. 3-19.
Now Johnson. And he'll be brought down somewhat awkwardly here, and a late flag as well. I think this one's going to be a face mask.
Personal foul. Face mask. Defense.
So that flag will cost him 15.
And it doesn't matter anymore how you get the face mask. Any part of it, that's going to be 15 yards.
So the face mask, quite a blessing there as they'll start out of harm's way with a 1st and 10.
4 down. Hurry up, here we go. Blue 90.
Following the penalty, it's Johnson. And that play will go nowhere. Losing yardage back near midfield at the 49. That's going to go as a loss of 2, and it'll be 2nd down.
Well, if these guys are going to chop into that deficit, they're going to have to do a much better job in the run game. Caught behind the line of scrimmage, no yardage to be found.
Hurry up, here we go. Green 39. Green.
They go to Johnson again. Finding room inside the 40. And finally taken down at the 30-yard line. That's good for 21 yards and a 1st down.
Man, these guys may not win this ball game, but you certainly can't fault the effort of this man here today. He's been a real thorn in their sides all afternoon. And that last carry puts him over the 100-yard mark.
Now on the heels of that run by Johnson, here's another 1st and 10.
Set. Green 39.
There's Johnson. He's been busy this afternoon. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line.
He has elite instincts from his linebacker spot. He's able to diagnose the run and flies in like a missile to stop that one behind the line of scrimmage.
All right, here we go.
They'll run it with Johnson. And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair. Call it a loss of 2 on the play. And that'll force upon him a 3rd and 14.
Brandon, we're into the second half, and this offense has not scored a lot of points, and that was another example of why. I think it's time to open things up and start really trying to move the ball.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. Steps away to his left. He can run for it, and he will. Only able to get back a yard for his efforts, and that leads us to 4th down.
How about a tip of the cap to the defense? They're working against a very mobile quarterback, but all day long they've kept him under wraps. And on that play, they held him to a short gain.
And this one looks good. It is good. Right down the pipe. And the deficit drops now from 21 down to 18. These kickers now, it's like we take them for granted. Kicks like that used to be such a big deal, and now you just expect them to make it.
Yeah, you're exactly right, and we shouldn't take them for granted, but I have a theory about it. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
They are more athletic now than ever before. Talk about kickers. Trace their backgrounds, trace their histories. You'll find that they were big-time athletes all along, but their kicking was so prevalent that we made them specialists.
Well, and now those 50-plus yarders seem easy for some reason.
Green 80.
And they'll go on the ground. He finds an opening past the 40. And he takes it across the 50 to the 46-yard line. A big run there, 29 yards and a 1st.
That outside handoff to the left, that play has to warm the heart of an offensive line coach because they controlled the left side where they were supposed to, but they didn't allow anything to leak from the backside on the right side of the offensive line either. Well played.
Yeah, and it created a big run.
Check 50, check 50. 95, 95. Bang out, bang out, bang, bang.
Running game working. They'll stick with it on first down. And he'll lose yardage here. Back at the 47. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be second down.
So while the offense has had a big day, no one on that side of the ball is excited about seeing a loss like that. Their goal, to make every play positive. And when you have a bad one like that, your next goal is to not let it spiral into more.
And they'll run it here. 4 yards on the pickup there as they get it back to a more manageable 3rd and 7.
They're trying to show that they can run the ball, protect this lead, give it to the backs, play a little bit of keep away, don't you think?
And that's probably a good philosophy at this point, going to make that defense stand up and stop them. To throw on 3rd down. Wilson finding his safety valve here. That's complete. And he'll get it down on the play to the 37. It's the Seahawks with the possession. They also have the lead here as we get set for the 4th and final quarter. And we'll begin it with a field goal try here. This from 54 yards away. And this will split the uprights. It's right down the middle. And that will stretch the lead up to 3 touchdowns now. It's a 21-point game. So it's 3 more points, and that widens this thing out even further here in the 4th.
And you know in this league, you can never have enough points, but this widens it out, as you said, and now it's all about ball control, isn't it?
And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. Cardinal offense coming back out. Let's give you a look at the playoff race. Now, this is into the weekend in the NFC. And I tell you, 4 weeks still to go, and everything is wide open, and it's fun.
And I know we always talk about, well, if the playoffs were to begin today, and then we kind of go, okay, but they're not. Let's see how it plays out. Wouldn't it be fun to play with this playoff lineup right now? Because to me, just about anyone can win this whole thing out of this grouping we currently have. And by the time we get there, it may look entirely different.
Give them a couple on the catch. It's 2nd and 8. They'll break the huddle, come up on 2nd and 8 at the 27-yard line.
All right, here we go. Boom, landed.
Out of the gun, they'll look to throw. That's caught on the left side by Kirk. Oh, and now he bowls him over. And he will finally go out of bounds, but not before he takes it down to the 25. A huge play there for Arizona. 48 yards.
There will always be a place for methodically marching the ball downfield. But when you can pick it up in big chunks and strike like that, have explosive plays, that's often the difference in winning and losing. Those types of plays that can knock a defense off balance, that'll drive a team towards a victory.
Call it a gain of 4 on first, and that'll make it 2nd down.
I call that play a success. A nice inside run sets up a very manageable 2nd down, a very solid gain on that play.
Here's a 20th carry for Johnson. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. It'll wind up being a loss of 2. And they're going to have a 3rd down.
The best offenses and the ones that win are ones that make adjustments. And right now, I think this team needs to open things up.
The Cardinals on 3rd down. They're at 50%, 4 for 8. This is 3rd and 8. Looking to throw. And this is going to be incomplete. Another wayward pass. You know, things started out poorly in this game, and to be frank, they just really haven't gotten much better.
And all that does is embolden a secondary. They feel good about what's going on, and they just play better and better.
A critical one here if they're going to have any shot at this thing. So they'll go for it on 4th down. Got to try it here. He's back to throw. He's going to let it go deep for the end. And this is going to be intercepted. Picked off by the linebacker, Bobby Wagner.
Well, this defensive pressure has been constant all game long. The pass rush, the coverage, they've all been excellent, and now they'll tack on an interception here as this one continues to slip just further and further out of hand.
And they'll try the ground game here with the running back. And he'll be taken down here at about the 23-yard line. Tackle is made by Cameron Jordan.
Well, Brandon, pace comes into play now because they've got the advantage. They've got the football, but they've got to be very careful about what speed they're going to play. You know, my music teacher back in New Paltz, Mrs. Bythema Bagley, used to say, don't go prestissimo when you really want to go largo. And what she meant by that is don't go too fast when you really want to go at a nice, slow, deliberate pace.
I am speechless. I am without speech. That'll be a loss of a yard, and it leads to a third down. On this day, the ground has been his, but at least on that individual play, we just saw the defense finally with a win.
Yeah, they finally got one, and that's a win for them, but all game long, he's seen the holes, and they've been huge for him. Kind of like a baseball hitter in the zone. The ball seems bigger, and he's just whacking it. These guys, they've got it going today.
Run left. Empty.
Wilson now to throw on third down. And incomplete here on third down. You can tell they were hoping for a flag there offensively. Several on the sideline motioning, hey, why not a penalty? Why not a penalty? What did you see?
Yeah, I think you've got to let them play, and the officials are instructed. If there's contact coming from both sides, no flag. Let them fight it out.
And forces fourth down. And this is away. It's a high kick, and he got all of it. And that one hits at the 7, but bounds into the end zone, and that'll be a touchback. Cardinal offense coming back out. Let's give you a look at the playoff race now. This is end of the weekend in the NFC. And there are parts of their last drive they'd like to emulate. Of course, they'd like to forget the ending, the interception. But they did put together, Charles, a nice sustained drive to get him down the field.
Yeah, and unfortunately for them, the only thing that matters is part 2, right? Because once they threw the interception and finished off the drive, that does them no good to go back and say, well, you know, we had a good one going. Finish thing.
Pressure comes. He's taken down by the Seahawk defense. Frank Clark, he's the one to get him, and that's sack number 7 for him on the year.
I know there'll be a little bit of criticism there because they went right back to the air after the huge pickup and end up getting sacked. That's often a play that you make. You feel like you've got momentum on your side. Unfortunately, the O-line failed to hold up to try to keep that momentum going.
Oh, a battle for it here, and this will be caught. He goes for 18 there as the drive will continue.
Never make the mistake that the slot receivers, especially the little guys like we're watching here, are just quicker than fast. A lot of them combine quickness and speed, and they catch a lot of footballs, as we just saw there.
Now let's go. Green 39.
Now on first down, he'll drop to throw it. Dumping it off for Johnson. A gain of 4 on the play, and it'll bring up a second down.
Well, it's tough to be a defender in today's NFL because there's so many things to account for in today's passing game, including the back sneaking out of the backfield. Not quite as bad as a turkey bowl where you have that center-eligible stuff, but still a lot of guys to account for.
4 yards on that last completion, so that sets up 2nd and 6.
Green 39. Green 39.
From the shotgun, he'll look to throw, and they will not get the connection there. It's incomplete. Johnson, the intended target. 3rd down here.
When I watched that play, I thought about what my coaches had told me in the past. The biggest teaching point, get your head around. Locate the football so you can make a play on it while it's in the air. That's exactly what he did there. That was nice.
They'll set up a throw. And he's got his man Hilton. And they're going to have this across midfield and inside the 45. It's a gain of 20 and picking up the first. He's such a good route runner. Shows it there on 3rd down. Very proficient and a good pass.
And you know what I've observed over the years in the NFL? The better a route runner you are, the more confidence your guy's going to have in you to go to you in important times because he can trust you being in the right spot.
Let's go.
and they connected there and picked up a first down.
They'll look to throw. His throw incomplete. The intended receiver was David Johnson. That'll bring up second down.
Didn't have a receiver open downfield, and as it turned out, couldn't even find his outlet man because of the coverage. It was way too tight, unable to find anyone open.
So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on first down.
Hurry up, here we go.
They'll drop to throw. Now he drops it incomplete, and their struggles continue here.
Anytime a defense can sit back in a zone like that, it tends to create a lot of congestion in the middle of the field. Makes it very hard to slot one in.
Looked like I-4 at rush hour in your hometown of Orlando, Florida. An absolute mess. This offense was on the move. Now 2 straight incompletions have them looking at 3rd and 10.
Let's go. Green 39. Green 39.
He'll drop to throw. Incomplete. He had his hands on it but couldn't pick it. But it's now 4th down.
Not only was the call spot on, how about the execution of that defense right there? The zone was absolutely locked up tight. He was trying to force it in there on 3rd down.
But if there's a time to force it, he felt like he needed to make a play, right?
Yeah, exactly right. 3rd down, you got to try and find something. There's nothing available there for him.
Here we go now.
As expected, they're going for it to keep the drive alive. And he's going to be intercepted a 3rd time. Picked off at the 35. And they take possession of the football and have it at the 36-yard line. Well, that's 3 picks he's now thrown in this game.
And I know this, the holiday season, because here we are in December.
Season of giving.
Right, it is the season of giving. Maybe for his own sake after the game, he may have to announce that he's donating certain amounts to charity for each interception that he threw.
As Seattle now ready to march out of the field. Now, the previous drive they punted, but that was just the first time they've had to do so in this game.
And when they turn on the game film, the coaches will rant about this, right? They'll say, oh, God, we got to move the ball, guys. We can't punt the ball away. But they have to keep smiles off their faces because that's the first time in the game they've had to do so. They've moved it quite well. They'll overall be happy with what they've seen.
And he'll grab a gain of 5 out of this up to the 41-yard line.
Oh, that's one to warm the hearts of all those old-school football players, isn't it? Tough, hard, gritty run, got behind his pads, bowled over a few people. Look at that one, right up the gut.
So through 3 quarters, no reason to lighten up now. And they'll go ground game here with a tailback. And he'll go down right around the 47 this time. Time for a break. Back to finish it off on EA Sports after this. So it's Seahawk football as we march toward a conclusion. And the scoreboard on their side, they're just looking to melt away these final couple of minutes and put this one in the left-hand column.
Let's make these babies cry all the way back home, man. Bang out, bang out, bam, bam. Right, easy. Check 51, check 51.
And on the ground they go with the running back. And for one of the few times here today, this run's not going to go anywhere. Call it no gain on the play, and it'll be 2nd down.
Doubling this guy has to be a priority before moving up to the next level because the big fella, he just ate that one alive, just stuffed it. In fact, before the game, he was talking to us, and he's like, hey, these pants make me look fat. And we said, nah, man, you're just a whole lot of guy.
He is at well over 300 pounds. He's a big man. And they'll go with a ground attack here. And here's another tackle made at the line. So they're converging well on the football now. Back-to-back stops make it 3rd and 10.
But it was stopped on that play. We've had plenty of carries all afternoon. Every now and then the defense is going to win one, but I don't think they'll shy away from handing it to him the rest of the game.
95, 95.
On 3rd down, that's Austin. He's got the first down and more inside the 40. And finally down at the 36-yard line. 17 yards on the pickup there and also a first down.
He's still rumbling, isn't he? Still looking fresh in this one despite the heavy workload. But you and I both know, well-conditioned, and he did tell us that he thrives on being at his peak late in ball games.
Check 50, check 50. Right, easy. Check 51, check 51. Check, right.
Now the former fourth-round pick, it's Kalen Balaj, and he'll be taken down at the 34. 2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8. A road win in the National Football League. Charles, you never take that for granted no matter who you're playing, no matter where you're playing.
You take it and you run with it. And you know you primed the pump all week in your own home facility. No one thinks we can do this. Only people who believe are right here in this room. And then you go on the road, band together, and get it done.
So for the Seahawks, the win pushes their record now to 11-2 on the year. And they'll have another road date next week with the Carolina Panthers. Meanwhile, for Arizona, any slim hopes they had at a playoff berth gone now as they drop to 4-9. And they'll be at home for one next week as the Atlanta Falcons come to town. I'm Brandon Gaudin. Certainly have to thank Charles Davis, my broadcast partner, and our entire crew. We'll catch you next time right here. It's the NFL on EA Sports.